This Saturday, our Clemson Tigers goes up to Raleigh to play the NC State Wolfpack. I'm going to dive into my prediction, some of my keys to the game. Right after this, I'm Brian. I'm not Bobby. Welcome to the channel. Hope you subscribe and hit all those other buttons we always ask you, us YouTubers ask you to hit just to say that you support the show for free. So let's dive in. The Textile Bowl. When you think about NC State and Clemson, especially if you're a Clemson fan, you know that NC State has been a problem for a while. Although if you go to the history of the Textile Bowl, since 2003, NC State has only beat Clemson twice. That's right. In 2003, NC State beat Clemson 17-15. But since then, they've only beat Clemson twice. In 2011, 37-13. And then in 2021, in double overtime, 27-21. We've seen close games. We've seen some blowouts. But this Saturday has a different feel. Both teams are 4-3. Both teams are lopsided in the bad way in their conference. Clemson is 2-3 in the ACC. NC State's 1-2. Now, in the offseason, NC State picked up a rather interesting transfer, Brennan Armstrong. He's the redheaded, left-handed quarterback from Virginia a few years ago who put up unbelievable stats. He transferred in after Devin Leary thought that going to Kentucky to play football would be a good idea. Even if you look at the stats right now, Brennan Armstrong is still the leading passer and rusher for NC State. But a few weeks ago, before the Marshall game, Dave Doeren did something that kind of shocked everyone. They had just lost to Louisville 13-10. After at halftime, NC State in Raleigh was up 10-0. They couldn't score even a field goal in the second half. Add insult to injury that NC State's new coordinator, Robert Anae, this is his first year with NC State, but he's been around college football for many years. He was the OC at Syracuse last year, and then he was at Virginia 2 years before that, coaching who? Brennan Armstrong. You would think that they would click. You would think that maybe some magic would happen. And yes, you have to have everybody on the same page. But my point is, it seemed like the perfect recipe for success. But they lost to Louisville. Dave Doeren shocks everyone. He benches Brennan Armstrong and brings in a sophomore, MJ Morris. MJ Morris comes out. This is a kid from Georgia. He comes out and plays against Marshall. He throws 4 touchdowns. He throws 4 touchdowns against Marshall. And you think, finally, the spark that Dave Doeren said he wanted is here. They win that game. Then they play Duke. At Duke. Duke doesn't have Riley Leonard. They have Bellin, their backup, who played against Florida State this week. They have him in there. How many passes does he attempt against NC State? 12. Only threw 12 passes the entire game. Completed only 4 passes. You go, well, who cares what he did? Well, Morris threw an interception in the game. And they lost by 21 points to a Riley Leonard-less Duke team. Once again, there's a similarity between Clemson and NC State there, considering both teams lost by 21 points. I know we can't go through that whole mental gymnastics that one team lost by this much to that team, and this team, I get it. There are some similarities here between both teams. Then you factor in that Clemson is loaded with talent everywhere. It is everywhere. It's oozing out of Clemson like some type of sore. Oh, that guy's a projected first rounder. Oh, that guy right there is a second or third rounder. Yeah, that guy right there Oh, they're how many 4 and 5-star players do they have? And what's their record again? Clemson is really good at wasting talent these days. It's a touchy subject, trust me. I've made a lot of people angry by stating that fact. But you say, how does this play into this game? Brian, just spit it out. Both these teams need a win. What's another similarity between both of these teams? Freshmen wide receivers who are absolutely tearing it up. Now, for us orange and white, we know about Tyler Brown, the 5'11", if that, 180-pound wide receiver. He received a late offer last year from Clemson after another recruit, from what I understand, fell through. And so they go to Greenville, South Carolina. And for those of you who have absolutely no idea what the geographical difference is between Greenville and Clemson, it's only about 40 to 45 minutes. In real time, it's about an hour and 15 with traffic, given the time of day. They went to this high school, and they got a guy who was ranked like 10th in the state of South Carolina recruits for that recruiting cycle. I live close to where he's at. You would hear his name every now and again, but it wasn't like he was burning the woods up. But guess what? He is at Clemson, 29 receptions, 391 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then what about the other side? NC State, a guy who's much like Tyler Brown, 5'11", 187-pound Kevin Concepcion. I think they call him KC. 37 receptions, 410 yards, and 4 touchdowns. These two freshman phenoms are providing a spark that their older contemporaries can't give them, or peers, I guess you would say, instead of contemporaries. So who wins this game? Really, who wins this game? Some would say NC State. Man, they're normally tough at home. Yeah, normally. Both of these teams are not normal. This is not a recently normal Clemson football team. Normally, NC State is tough to play at home, but they lost to Louisville. They lost to Notre Dame. And that Louisville team is much improved. But guys, this is not playing Ohio State. This is not playing Georgia or Michigan. This is playing Louisville. A team with a first-year head coach who's brought in who he could bring in. By the way, he's coaching them well. So what's the key to the game for each team? And I could go through a lot of different scenarios. NC State, if you want to beat Clemson, don't turn over the football. And MJ, you can't force the football like you did against Duke. Clemson's defense is ridiculous. Clemson's defense has a front seven and people who are second and third string who's coming in who is crazy good. You can't force the football. If I'm Robert and I'm trying to get him comfortable, and I'm trying to keep him mentally focused the entire game to get the ball to Concepcion. You stand a chance there. If I'm defensively NC State, I'm taking the run away from Clemson because that's what they want to do. I would get rough with Tyler Brown. I would hit him. Antonio Williams is not playing this game. He's out. Brendan Stoll just had a great game against Miami, and he's very talented, but he's a tight end. Maybe they will shift the ball to him a little more. But the rest of the wide receiver unit has not been dominant. I'm not saying that they're bad. They just haven't been dominant. Troy Stellato would be the next name I would say that would probably get the ball more. He's catching everything thrown to him. But if I'm NC State, I man up. And when I say man up, I'm not talking about man coverage. I'm talking about I start beating up on Tyler Brown because I think he's the one to really worry about, with Brennan Stoll being next. You'll stand a chance of winning this game. I would stack the box, my friends. I would stack the box. Now, if I'm Clemson, what do I do to win this ballgame? Just apply pressure to the young quarterback. That's it. You have all this talent. Apply pressure, knock him around. I'm not talking cheap shots, but there is a reason they give you a helmet and pads. Hit him and hit him hard. Confuse him just a little bit. On the offensive side, and this is why I leave this last, I could care less if you have 600 yards in a half. If you lose the game, that's the most important stat. You didn't put up points. Clemson's turnover-itis that they have has been sickening this year. It's cost them a lot. Now, here's my prediction. Clemson inks out this game with a 3 to maybe 4 point win. Somewhere in the range of 21 to 17, 24 to 21. But I would not be shocked if NC State somehow, if Clemson's playing like they've been playing recently, turning over the ball, playing around a little too much. We have a running back arguing on the side with his coach. Wouldn't be shocked. It's not out of the realm of possibility, especially with this team and this culture that we see now. If NC State pulls this out. But I call the Tigers with a win 24, 21, 21, 17, somewhere in there. Folks, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you hit the subscribe button. Hope you turn on the notifications. If you want to support the channel on a monthly basis, there's a join button below the video. It's so flipping cheap. Just check it out. It's cheap. I do appreciate it. Also, below the video, I have a sponsor, 4puttcarts.com. Reach out to them for all your beverage cart needs, snacks, beverages, whether it's a special event or it's a golf course, you need to get them out there. Also, I've been giving away some of these little tiger cutouts. They're fantastic, wonderfully made, courtesy of the Sawmill Shop. Their link is below. Reach out to them and let them know that you heard about them from me. I'll catch you next time. And as always, go Tigers.